Broadcasting from Hollywood, California. It's Grant's Rants, Hollywood Talk.
We're giving our quick takes on Jennifer Lawrence's wedding, Felicity Huffman behind bars, and Jennifer Aniston joins Instagram. Later, we debate the futures of OC and Beverly Hills Housewives. 90 Day Fiancé expert Christy Olson teases the new season, and Fern Ronay rejoins the Rants. Let the ranting begin. I am joined by Christy Olson from 90 Day Fiancé News Daily.
Yay, hello.
And it's been a minute, so I'm coming back to you with two guest co-hosts returning to the podcast. Longtime guest co-host Fern Ronay.
Hi, so excited.
Fern, I should introduce her properly. Author and podcaster, Science from the Other Side podcast.
That's right. Thank you.
Now that the formalities are out of the way, what a pleasure to have you guys here. It's like, this is like getting into a nice comfortable pair of slippers.
I know.
It's a nice, easy show. Thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
It's my favorite group to rant with.
I know. We had brunch before this, but I was like, I can't talk about all the things
I
want to talk about them with because you got to save it for the show.
You save it for the show. I appreciate everyone for being patient with me. The show has been off for the last 2 weeks. I've been working around the clock, and I'm not even joking. I mean, it's been ridiculous. Fall TV. You know, the shows are back. I'm now taking on potentially a fifth project, which I can't handle. And I'm not even joking. Like, I'm literally just incredibly stressed out. So I've been trying to, take care of myself in between all of this on the weekend. So bear with me, forgive me. I had to take a minute off, but I'm going to give you as much as I can of the podcast over the next couple of weeks. But here's some good news. Everyone wants some good news.
Yay!
Some good news is that Pandora has selected Grant's Rants as part of a few shows that they're having on their platform. So Grant's Rants Hollywood Talk is available on Pandora Radio, a new way to be discovered.
That's nice.
Yeah. So they are part of Sirius XM. So a lot of, Radio Andy content, it mirrors Grant's Rants. So now we're kind of in that category where if you like Jeff Lewis, maybe you like Grant's Rants.
Oh my gosh, you belong in there with those guys.
Yeah.
I've been looking for new work. I'll be very honest with the listener. And I've been networking, and the folks at Pandora have been great. And they were very welcoming to have Grant's Rants part of their platform. And I'm thrilled to be there. So it's a new way to listen.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And a new way to find the show. And it's a hustle. So I'm so glad whenever I can get a little win like that, it's a big thing. So,
that's awesome.
I've been taking a break from social media. I've been trying to be a little more positive and putting positive things out there. I know I rant. That's what I do. But I don't want to be, really negative. And I've just been kind of in a weird place. And I'm trying to get things moving. It's just a frustrating time. And I'm burned out. So I figured let's just stay quiet for a little bit. But now, the podcast must continue. And there are things happening, and we have a good panel. So I love you for listening. Let's get right into it with some things that we have to cover. Do we really care about these things? We don't know. Let's see first.
We are going to decide.
Yeah, do we really care? Here's what's happening, and then we'll give our rants and thoughts and opinions. Quick takes. Here we go. Jennifer Lawrence was married this weekend at the Belcourt Castle in Newport, Rhode Island. She had 150 guests. Adele was one of them. Ashley Olson. We're having Mary Kate. And Amy Schumer was there. They're friends. Kris Jenner also made an appearance. Now, I'm from Rhode Island, for those who don't know. It's interesting to imagine Kris Jenner walking to the T.F. Green Airport, a local small airport. I can't imagine. I don't know. Do we care about Jennifer Lawrence's wedding?
No. I mean, congrats, whatevs. I'm sure it's great, but, whatever.
Congrats. I love her. I saw the article in the Daily Mail, but I didn't click on it.
No, I wasn't that interested to cover it for a main story. I mean, good for her, but okay. Moving
I'm
on.
sure she was beautiful, and, congrats.
Yeah. Now, the second story here, Felicity Huffman, she's serving a 14-day prison sentence at a federal corrections institute east of San Francisco. It's minimum security. Do we care about this story? Someone's paying the price for this college cheating scandal. 14 days. I mean, why bother?
I care way more about what's going to go down with Aunt Becky.
Yeah.
Me
1,000,000%. Yeah. Felicity just seems like a nice woman, got caught up in some stuff. Maybe you would or wouldn't do that for your kid. But, I don't know. With Lori, it just seems so much more salacious.
So much more.
And the photos of her in jail, that's going to be a whole thing.
I'm trying to do the calculation. So Felicity spent $15,000 for one time, and they spent $500,000 total. And I'm like, what does that calculate to for the amount of jail time? I agree. I'm so fascinated with how it's going to turn out for her.
Well, because so Fern's our legal eagle.
Yes.
It's a possibility that they could get off entirely yet, right?
I hope not. I mean, I really hope not. I think Felicity is a gauge of what's going to happen with Aunt Becky, and I don't think they're getting great advice. I think they should have separate lawyers. I think they should not have flown private to their most recent hearing in Boston.
I would have known that.
Right?
And I've never flown private.
Honestly, and the time
Where
before
are these
that,
people's lawyers?
where are their lawyers? Where are their PR people being like, do not show up all happy signing autographs. Just walk in serious.
Stop
take
going to
it
yoga.
Seriously. Like, just hide out and be glum.
Yeah, I mean, like they say, like
at least appear nervous
act like you
about
did
it.
something wrong.
Well, Felicity showed contrition. I mean, she did. She wrote a letter and all that. I mean, the other one, Aunt Becky's not doing anything. It seems. I mean, at least the public perception of her is really bad.
And the daughters don't help either. I think Felicity's daughters versus Lori Laughlin's daughters is a whole different.
Oh, I can't stand that Olivia Jade. I can't stand her. Are we gonna have to look at her now? Is she the next thing that we're gonna have to?
Sure.
Oh. What are they going to do?
But
Give her a reality show?
Is she coming back to her YouTube? Like, she's been hiding, right?
I would
Or has she
assume
been
once
back?
the sentencing, no, she's not been back. She had one return to social media with her middle fingers in the air on Instagram. Very classy.
Yeah,
Oh,
I believe
great
that
for the
has
judge
since
to
been
see.
deleted.
I'm sure the
Mhm.
judge really appreciated. Yeah.
But I'm sure she'll be back in full force. There's too much money on the table. And when that was all going down, she was trying to launch like a makeup line. That's not going anywhere.
Well, this is what I say about influencers. Like, it doesn't matter. The numbers are there. If her follower count and she's got that blue check mark and it's over 50K, I mean, that's marketability 101. So it almost doesn't matter if her public perception is in the toilet and people don't like her. I mean, that girl, Catch Me Outside girl, people can't stand her. She got a big deal with Snapchat. She had a billboard on Sunset Boulevard.
She's worth tens of millions of dollars.
You can't get rid of these people. So unfortunately, I can't stand her, but Olivia Jade, I'm sure will live on in some form, on some platform. I mean, there's so many platforms you can't kill someone's career now. Alec Baldwin's take on this, he said that basically Felicity should have gotten community service and some fines, not jail time. I don't know. What do you think? Do you agree?
I mean, blowhards supporting blowhards.
Yeah, honestly. I feel like I'm glad even if they were making an example out of her, which they shouldn't do, they had to, or people would have been infuriated.
Yeah.
They had to make an example out of her, and they had to, make it so that they kind of even the playing field, because there's such a contempt for people who are paying their way into
and we all know
careers,
that happens.
and we all know it happens, and when we finally blow it up and see it for real, it's I just think they had to do it that way.
Yeah.
To deter any future rich, arrogant people from being like, they didn't get jail time. I don't care what it costs. I'll pay the fine.
I wonder what it's like to prep for a period in prison that's 14 days. Some people go in for 5 days. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think you can kind of like, I don't know if it gets to you in that amount of time because like, I don't know, I've never been through it. But like, I think you can prep yourself for that
also,
mentally.
The facility she's in is reportedly very cushy. It's more like a camp. Really in the living situation. I mean, I'm picturing like, bunks at a cabin more so than like Orange is the New Black style.
There are some pictures of her that surfaced. She was in a green, like, what is it, jumpsuit
Yeah,
or
she looked
whatever.
like a camp counselor.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I think she's a fantastic actress. I don't know where she'll go from here career-wise, but I think there's hope.
Yes, and a quality person. It certainly seems like she's a decent woman, and she's got herself caught up a little.
She
bit.
played it out right. She got good advice about how to behave, how to plead, how to handle the whole thing. Yeah, I think she'll be fine.
Third up in our quick takes here, Jennifer Aniston is on Instagram. Did anyone bother to float her a follow?
I intended to. I'm not sure I actually went and did it. I think because when I first saw that she was there, I was like, yes, we want to support Jennifer Aniston. And then I heard that everyone else was following her, and I was like, oh, I guess it's fine.
She's all right.
She'll be fine. But I do love her. I actually love her.
And it is a huge slap in the face to all the influencers. Because there's like people trying to spend their last dime and their last amount of energy drop at the end of the day trying to be a huge deal on social media. And then we are reminded that someone like Jennifer Aniston can just come on and get 8 million followers in a day or whatever it is.
Right. She broke a record.
Yeah.
A world record for the most, the least time to gain 1 million followers. Someone's measuring this. And I mean, of course, though. I mean, I don't know why she wasn't on it to begin with. I mean, it's not a surprise. Jennifer Aniston has been a household name since the early 90s, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, all right, good for her. And what else? She currently has 15 million as the time of recording this podcast.
Wow.
Yeah. And, here's my opinion on this, though. She is in this movie, right, on Apple TV Plus. Not movie, what is it?
TV show with
TV show.
Witherspoon.
Oh,
yes.
That morning show
sounds
host.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. These people usually are kind of like asked to get on social media to market the show. And it's just, usually they've got somebody managing their profile and there's a share of passwords. This is nothing. I'm not giving away any trade secrets. We know how this goes.
For sure. Oh, yeah.
It's called your
Immediately. That was
team.
my first
It's
thought.
like
I was
having a
like, what
team.
is she promoting?
Me too, exactly. I was
Right.
like, oh, this is about her Apple TV show. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like having a team. They manage everything for you. And, you can go, and I'm sure Jennifer can post an Insta story of her eating an ice cream cone if she wants, but it also would be easier for other people to manage her account if she doesn't want to be bothered. Like, think of a lot of the older actors.
Yeah, we're not missing anything personal.
Right. Could you imagine the older actors caring about Instagram followings? But yet, the studios, networks, production companies, all these things, that matters. So that's kind of what I think. When I looked at this, I was like, again, what is she promoting? And who's running this account really? But that's my thought and opinion. People are enjoying when we talk about 90 Day Fiancé on this podcast. So let's get right into it. We've got Christy here, so we might as well. It's a top story here on the Rants.
Be a very willing expert.
A 90 Day Fiancé return is happening. 7 new couples, November 3rd on TLC. Christy, what are you hearing about this new season?
It sounds and looks good. They're, of course, promising more drama than ever, which you're going to hear all the time when a new season comes out. But the thing with this show is that it has progressed in the kind of stories that they're willing to tell, and they're willing to go places they weren't in 2014 when this series first started. So I'm expecting it to be pretty salacious.
Okay. Good.
I'm curious, has the government ever watched the show and been like, this is not a legitimate relationship. This is not going to be allowed.
Well, that's been kind of part of the journey in the last few years with it, is that back when they started the show just a few years ago, something like 80 to 90% of K-1 visas were approved, and now it's something like 50 to 60 or maybe even lower if you're lucky. So that is a small aspect to it. But the thing is that they seem to pretty well vet the couples, and a lot of them are more legit than you would expect, or definitely more legit than they look in a 2-minute promo. Now that there are all these spin-offs we get to see before the 90 days, we get to see the other way, the Americans going over and visiting that person. We get to see happily ever after, which is almost never actually happily ever after. So we're getting to know the couples a little bit better, which even makes it even juicier.
Right, but all these scenes too are just like they all serve a purpose. They're all plot driven in my point of view. Like as far as we're not seeing what it's really like day to day. It's like they're heightened, is what I mean. So it's like, I mean, I kind of take it for what it is. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if there was, like you said, those 2 minutes are really a good depiction of the couple, but. There are some people on the show that really the government should be watching and being like, "Whoa, this is nuts." But maybe not in this group. Maybe the person the two people that stood out to me the most are this guy from Connecticut, Michael. He's 41.
And Michael.
Yeah, and Juliana is from Brazil. We've seen some other Brazilian women on the show before.
Yes, and most of them are doing quite well. Larissa dos Santos Lima comes to mind. But the thing with them is that's going to be one of the first times that we see the couple going into the interview. That's not something that they've talked a lot about. I don't know if they decided it wasn't sexy before, but we're going to see them go into this interview with a government official and get questioned about whether she's been a prostitute for the last 10 years. And they're not happy after this meeting. So that's, again, another aspect and kind of getting a little bit deeper into it than we have before.
Hey, it's real. I'll take it. I mean, if that's the real situation and that's part of the process, this is supposed to be profiling the 90 days of the K-1 visa. Let's see it.
So they never showed that before?
I mean, a little bit here and there, not to that extent, and never like as if they were going along with them. But now that's another thing, is that there's so many more court things, and in the last few years they've started to show when couples, when somebody gets arrested or someone has a domestic violence case.
Oh, wow.
They're going there now.
Well, here's what I'm interested in with these two. So they met on a yacht in Croatia. Apparently he has tons of money and friends in high places. I mean, this is what we're being told. And she's a model, of course. And but now the twist is that she hasn't seen his baggage yet. He's married, or he was married, ex-wife, and has 2 kids.
2 sons, I believe.
So now, of course, she's, what is her age here? She is 23, and he's 41. So, she's probably not prepared for all of this, and that will probably be the main twist. But even in the picture, he just doesn't look like a pleasant person. I don't know how to say it, but I'm a little, questioning their legitimacy. We'll see what happens.
They're just such a stereotype. I mean,
older
whether
man,
we get to know them
woman.
and see more genuity remains to be seen, but they're just such that couple.
I saw Greenwich, Connecticut, Brazilian, and I was like, this is so, like
it's reality TV.
Yes. Mm-hmm. They couldn't have cast it better.
No.
I want to say her name is Tania from Connecticut.
I think it's Tanya.
Oh,
Tanya and St. John, right?
Okay, St. John, yes. Interesting. They met, he's a bartender in South Africa.
This is a good story.
And basically, he's been with, they were together for like,
she
stayed.
Went there to meet another guy that she had been talking to. That wasn't going well. She was out at the bar with that guy, ended up meeting bartender St. John, and now that's who she's here in the U.S. with trying to get married to.
And she stayed with him for 4.5 months. She just hung out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you do that internationally, though, and when you vacation. Can't you?
Other countries, a lot of places, it's 6 months. You can just go to, you can just go hang for 6 months in a lot of places. Yeah. The really cool thing with them is the New York Times did a piece where they embedded a reporter along on this season, and Tanya and St. John were one of the couples that they saw the most. So that's a great read for anybody who's a fan of the show, because it kind of takes you behind the scenes and you get the journalist perspective of like, no, they weren't being coached on what to say, but they are asking leading questions. Well, I never saw them fake anything, but here's one thing that kind of happened. I mean, it's just, it's a great read.
Yeah. 90 Day Fiancé loves to pluck people from the Dominican Republic.
So, the DR.
DR. So, of course, there's one here. We got Robert. He's from Winter Park, Florida. And he's 41. And then this girl, I think she's like 30, whatever, but she's from the Dominican. And he proposed to her the very first day that he met her in person. And they'd been talking prior, but they'd spent 8 hours face to face. And then he proposed to her at the end of the day. Fern, what advice do you have for this couple?
Slow down. Please. Is this the one where he has a friend named Matt who was always influential to him? Or is that somebody
That's another couple.
Okay. I was like, that sentence is just weird to me. Like, why should a friend be so influential? But this one, okay. All of these couples, I read all of them, and my best friend's mother always says people love to complicate their lives. And I was reading all of these, and I was like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? Including these two. I mean, I hope they're all true love, and they have 50 years of marriage, happy and healthy, but oh dear.
Anyone else stand out to you? Those are the ones that I'm interested in watching.
I was going through all of them, and I was like I'm saying, like, what are you thinking? And then I got to one. Maybe I'm a hopeless romantic. I got to one where she's a beekeeper, and they connected on social media, and he's a beekeeper. I'm like, oh my God, the beekeepers found each other from across miles and oceans, and that's who I'm rooting for. I'm like, I'm going to watch Christy's updates because that's who I'm rooting for.
Fern, unfortunately, she is also keeping a huge secret from his family across the sea.
That she has 3 children,
she has
right?
kids, yes, and they do not approve of relationships out of having kids out of wedlock, and that is going to blow up. Somebody's going to get stung, Fern, is all I'm saying. I know, I'm sorry to break it to you.
For those not aware, this is Anna from Nebraska and Marcel from Turkey.
And they can barely speak the same language. Oh, no. You gotta love that when they whip out the app, the translator app. It's
he proposed on social media.
Yeah, you've been waiting how long to be together, and you did not spend 1 second trying to learn each other's language.
So did the beekeepers, did they meet in person yet?
That's going to be on the show, yes, is like his arrival to the United States. Oh my God,
I hope, because there's something to be said about chemistry. Like before I met my husband, I did online dating, and there is something to be said for chemistry because you can be perfect on paper. Listen to me, people, like do not talk for months, do not talk on the phone for months, do not email for months, and then meet each other. Meet right away because you might just not have that chemistry with the person, and they could be perfect in every other way. There is something to be said, like your body just doesn't love his butt, like back. Like I don't know if you mean sexually, like literally chemicals. Attraction is offline. Everything, and you can't wait. Don't waste your time.
Yeah. I don't do it anymore, but I've dated offline, and you can tell when they walk in the room. You know what I mean? Like it's like you can have a great conversation through text, of course. Send the emojis and a picture, and then, it's totally different when you're crossing the person and then you have to have a 45-minute dinner. and you haven't even ordered yet, and you're on a conversation. I mean, that's the thing.
And you're like, this is never, in your mind, you're like, this is never going to happen.
Right.
But it's like, this is a nice person. But so these people who are talking for months, they think they're going to get married. They might not like each other in person.
And
don't waste
with the
your
show
time.
adding the whole other element and the K9 visa, and then they still go through it
God.
anyway. Like, that kind of seems to be the main theme out of anything. It's just that these people have to stick to their guns and just do it because they said they were going to do it.
God, what stakes. This really is a good this is a good idea for a show.
Could not be
It's
juicier.
a good show. I'll be watching, again, for those interested, November 3rd, TLC, 90 Day Fiancé, the original.
Of course, we got part 2 of The Other Way Tell-All to endure first, which I think is going to be good too.
Yeah, the current couples that are airing now, I'm ready for them to kind of, I feel like I've seen enough. I'm ready for something new. I'm a little burned out. Yeah, I'm a little burned by the current ones. But these we'll see. I'm telling you, that one, that Michael from Connecticut with that younger girl, I'm curious to see how that will go.
They seem to be the breakout stars thus far. They're the ones everyone is talking about. Yeah. But I mean, it's a soundbite, it's the prostitute thing on the trailer. Like everyone's latching on to that.
Yeah. I'll be watching. When we come back, we're going to be talking about Real Housewives of Orange County and even a little bit of Beverly Hills. I'm putting myself through it. We're going to kind of react a little bit, share our thoughts and opinions on kind of the state of these shows, what we're into, what we're not feeling. And then, of course, more with Christy and Fern in a moment. Now this.
You're listening to Grant's Rants. Subscribe and spread the word. There are a lot more rants to come. Listen anytime on all major podcasting platforms. And now, back to the show.
And we're back on the podcast talking with Fern, Ronay, and Christy Olson.
Yay!
And we're talking about little Callie, my little terrier mix running around. So if you hear some shaking and some pitter-patter, you know who it is.
Such an angel.
She's just enjoying the day. She's behaving so well. I'm so happy.
Good.
Let's talk about some of these things going on in Housewives world, because Orange County Housewives is a lot to sit through this season.
Yeah.
We're over halfway through, apparently. I guess. So what?
What happened?
Yeah.
We didn't get a half a season's worth of drama yet.
Yeah. I don't know if the show knows what it wants to be. Does it want to be, like flirty and, women making out, or does it want to be about families? Does it want to be about women in business? Does it want to be about wealthy people and travel? What is it? Like, what are they trying to get out of the show?
That's a good question. And that's kind of, Vicky did an interview recently where she kind of went in on that and was like, when I created this series 15 years ago, it was about families. And it was a whole different thing, like watching the kids grow up and all that. Now it's about, apparently, drinking and making out on the dance floor, which is a whole nother genre of entertainment, but it was just a big swerve. That's all I'm saying. It was a swerve.
And it felt fake. Like it felt staged. Like maybe they really do like each other. If they do, you know what? That's their business. Power to them. Yeah. Like, I'm not here to judge, but it just felt like they were doing it out of desperation.
It's Bronwyn.
Yeah.
It's all coming off very fake, very forced, she's trying to play this sexy, cool, hot chick who's, down with the threesomes.
Oh, she's so
if you're not down with the threesome, apparently you're not cool.
It felt like there was a bubble over their head or something. Yeah, like a thought bubble over both of their heads. Like, we have to do whatever it takes to keep this show on the air and keep our paychecks coming. And it felt so fake.
Well, and with them in the middle at that table and the whole restaurant laughing at them, and
on the floor.
It was obviously just such a spectacle.
Such a spectacle. I can't wait for 20 years from now when they do a study on like the children of mommy bloggers on the one hand and then like reality TV, like how it has affected the children, because I just think of their kids, like no judgment if that's what they're into, but I don't want to hear about their bathroom lives. I don't want to hear about their bedroom lives, and I definitely don't think their kids do.
No.
There's some things that I just like. It's secondhand embarrassment. This isn't entertainment anymore,
right? And it all kind of distracted us away from the fact that none of that is a real storyline.
Exactly.
Like, what are we really getting?
Right. No, there's really nothing happening. And it's like, you've got Gina running around upset at everybody, and then she's cool with everybody again. But then the next week you find out she's really not over it. I don't know. Gina, to me, I've said this before, she's completely miscast on this show. She's good for TV, but not for this show. I want to go back to, Christy, you mentioned Vicky's interview, and this comes from realityblurb.com. This kind of, I think, says a lot. She says, when I created this franchise 15 years ago, First of all, okay. It was about our lives and having the opportunity to showcase to the world the privileged lifestyle we lead. It's turning out to be all about divorce, rental houses, threesomes, and other ridiculous things. I mean, I think that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, a lot of that is a slam at Kelly, of course, the rental house, you know, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. It gets to the point where it's really stupid. Like, my grandmother stopped watching Dancing with the Stars because she thought it turned too sexual. Because like, they were like in all sexy outfits and all. So I still think it's the lamest, most garbage reality show. But like this show is really just like, I guess they're trying to like, hey, sex sells, we're gonna go all in because the ratings aren't good. I mean, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, again, I think they just have nothing else to work with. Yeah.
Cheap attempt.
Yeah,
not
cheap.
good.
Yeah.
And you know, Vicky thinks this is doing her a service because she thinks she's pointing out that the show is bad now that she's just a friend of. But really, it's just pointing out that they have nothing to work with, whether she's there or not.
Exactly.
This is a problem with the Evolution Housewives. This and Beverly Hills. I mean, you know, they are too afraid to do anything. And I think a lot of this, too, probably comes from the network. You know, I've said this before about Vicky. I think they said to producers, we got to do something. We got to change something up. I don't know, get rid of Vicky. And then they were like, okay, but we're still going to have her like in every other episode.
Yeah.
But, like, it's just like, it's like, they didn't commit to it, in my opinion. You got to do one or the other. And she should have been on full time. The thing is ridiculous. But we've already talked about that. Vicky has said, though, that Bronwyn is classless. But yet, to me, Tamara's the one on the ground with her boobs out. So how come one, can't they both be classless? They're doing the same thing.
I mean, yeah, pretty clear. They can both be classless.
They're both class. I feel like Vicky can't say that about Tamara because if she gets back on the show, she has to have.
She has to have Tamara as that connection.
Smart.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's just like if you're gonna slam someone and the other one, there are two people making out.
Yeah,
not just one.
Yeah, they're both.
It's like, who's the other one?
And
you know,
Vicky also doesn't like anyone new, anyone younger, prettier, happily married.
Well, you know who she doesn't like is Megan and Alexis's cameos. She doesn't like having them on. I didn't mind to see Jesus Jugs. I love that we got a Bible verse, an indirect Bible verse. I didn't mind seeing her. I've said this for years. I've said this from the beginning of my time at AfterBuzz. There's room on Orange County for other housewives like a Gretchen, like an Alexis. Like, just add people.
I agree.
There's room on the show that no one's really doing anything. You know, I mean.
And you know Gretchen would do the most.
For $50 an episode, she'd do the show.
And even Alexis, like, I think when her time on the show did come to a close, maybe it was time for her to take a break or take a friend role for a season or two. But like now, especially, I want to know what her life post Jim is like. Yeah. You know, and she has this boyfriend who apparently is completely different from Jim. Like, I am interested in her life now.
And people on social media were like applauding her because she had the drink with a shot of vodka in it. And people thought that was like, I mean, people will take anything. That's how starved the Real Housewives fans are for just like something interesting, something new, even though it's not new. But, you know, it's a familiar face with a new take. I mean, this seems like a new Alexis. So let's see what's going on. Yeah. She has said, though, she has no interest in returning to the show. She wouldn't do it because of Tamara.
I have such a hard time buying.
I don't believe
because I feel that she would definitely take the money out of most people. But
she appeared for a lunch. Like, she obviously is willing to do a little.
Yeah,
she wants to be on the show.
There. So why? So you think she's just not being asked? I mean, there are reports that Andy has personally tried to get her to sign on a few times. I just don't buy that.
And I feel like Alexis and Gretchen would both be welcome back because I feel like people watch each franchise, they want different things. They want blonde OC. And I feel like Emily is not that, and Gina is not that.
Right.
And they want to see their old OC, what they look for in the OC.
What I would do is I would bring back people because the show has a lot of history. Play into that. The new faces, this show is a very hard show to cast. And if people are lighting up on Twitter because Alexis is drinking vodka, then put her on the show. I think that, you know, instead of always trying to reinvent it, let's get a young energy in here. And let's get another young mom or a new mom storyline, you know. Go for it. Bring back. It's worked for New York. I mean, I don't know why they don't do more of that. This is part of a much larger conversation. But
well, is there a possibility that Alexis had already signed on for Marriage Boot Camp Reality Stars Family Edition, the longest name of the reality show ever, before the new season of OC started filming, and maybe she didn't realize there was interest there, so she was already promised to Wii for that 6 months or a year or whatever, you know, because she is really good on that too.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, that's only 2 episodes in, but her and her mom are a hot mess, and she's trying to fix everybody else. And yeah, she's
That
far
sounds
more entertaining than I
fascinating.
remember her being.
Yeah, because I think it's so fascinating that she was ever with Jim to begin with.
Yeah.
And then their relationship and the breakup. I want to know, like, where's she come from? What caused her to go with him to begin with?
Like the mom cheated when Alexis was 12, and that busted up her parents' marriage, and now she's blaming herself, putting her kids through a broken home on it. I mean, it's everything we could be seeing on Real Housewives of Orange County.
Exactly. I mean,
exactly.
we're having to look at everybody else's mother. Yeah. Kelly's mother, Emily's mother-in-law. Bronwyn's mother. Yeah, I mean, it's all about. We saw Tamara's mother. Didn't she go in for another plastic surgery? So, I mean, it's nothing new. The concept of mother-daughter housewives.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, someone's got to really think on this, because I keep finding new people, and, the people they found, they don't match. They don't work. So maybe go back, and I know they'll never do it because they're trying to keep the median cast low. But if they could put Gina Keogh back on the show, I'd be very happy.
Kara, her and them both together, and then Vicky and Brianna.
If there were any mother-daughter duo to do the Housewives at the same time, it would be the original. Mm-hmm. The show they built around was Gina. So, like, this would be the one to do. Her and the daughter, full-time housewives. That would get them a lot of press.
Whatever we can do to get Shane Keogh back on TV.
I'd even take just the daughter.
So gorgeous.
Yes. I'd even take just the daughter, but I love Gina because she's the original you-know-what star. So I'm always like... And
taking
she's still
a glass
living
of wine to the eye.
She's still living across the street. Like, her life is like, she's still there in Kodo. She's got money. Yeah. So let's see more of it.
And I miss Brianna. I miss the voice of reason.
Oh, yeah. I know that was a big loss losing her, for real. Vicky, she is blaming Kelly's behavior on the fact that she doesn't have a full-time job. And she thinks that she's too dependent on men for money.
She actually makes sense there. Yeah, it certainly appears that way. Exactly. I don't like Vicky. I put her in the same arrogant box as Ramona. Like, I can't stand them, but they're good for TV, and I was surprised they let her go. And sometimes she makes sense, and she makes sense here with what she's saying in this article, except for the point where she tried to take credit for creating the show. But this makes sense too. Like, she said that Kelly would be happier if she built her own business, built her own, made herself independent, had something to be proud of on her own instead of getting money from her relationships. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and she's probably right. And Kelly does always say that she was a professional woman at one point in time, and she did have a successful career. And I think, she probably would if she wasn't chasing men around the world. If she was
her successful career? I feel like I find out
something in advertising or marketing, maybe.
Well, now
something
she has
that like hot chicks do.
Now she has the positive water.
Oh, that's right.
Water never goes anywhere in these reality. Black water. I feel like don't go into a water business if you're on reality TV.
No. Look, here's the thing. My final thought on the whole thing is I'm the first to admit that shows need to grow and evolve, and they're like living, breathing things. So, of course, it's not going to be the same thing as where it started. But I do think that they don't have a massive audience, and I imagine the audience they have has stuck with them from the beginning. And, you got to bring it back a little bit and give the fans what they want, because getting another fresh face, another young mom is really not working. And I know I've said this a couple times on this show alone, but I would highly suggest bringing people back, even if it's more in the friend of categories. Mm-hmm. But, we've been invested in the show now. The majority of us are 14 seasons. I'm cool. I don't need to see anyone else new. One person I will never need to see again, though, that they don't need to bring back is Peggy Sulahian and the other one.
Carlton.
Well, no, that's Beverly Hills. No, the other one from OC, who Lydia. She's the other one. I don't need to catch up with her. We've done it. We've done it. So let me know how the others are doing.
I could take Quinn back for one episode. Did she ever get laid? Remember Quinn?
Yeah. They need to figure out something, because in my opinion, it's not working. And Christian Snow, who's been on this podcast a bunch, he posts the day after those overnight numbers. I mean, the ratings for this show are falling fast.
Plummeting, huh?
So, it's time to figure something out. And I don't know if it's going to be let's reinvent the whole show and get rid of Vicky. I mean, it's not working. Yeah. So anyway.
As someone from the East Coast, I just want to say about Gina's accent is so fake to me. I can't listen to her sometimes.
Her East Coast accent?
Yeah, she's so putting it on. And then her parents were on the show, and they don't have the accent.
That's true.
I was like,
oh my God, I didn't notice.
It's so fake to me. It bothers me so much. So tweet me if it bothers you too.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I'm kind of through with Gina.
I mean, just her trying so hard, but still making really bad style choices is really entertaining. I mean, because I feel for her, because it has to be hard to dress for,
It's just not the show for her.
It's not.
It's not only that, but she was never a housewife because we could never see her life and her husband. And now I don't think we can see the kids at all either. So now she falls into that category where the husband doesn't approve of the kids appearing on the show. So, I mean, it never worked.
He lost his job because of her notoriety not because of her notoriety, because of what he did. Sorry.
You know what's not working? Apparently, surprise, surprise, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Who told you this? Who had an hour special breaking down what they could do to fix this show? Now, this is coming from Real Housewives franchise on Instagram. RHOBH, Bravo executives are reportedly, quote, unhappy, unquote, with footage from season 10 of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Filming for the new season of RHOBH is currently underway, and the new season expected premiere is in early 2020. According to LA Late, or La Late, whatever, Bravo executives have viewed scenes from the new season, and their first impression is that the footage appeared very bland. Now, there's more. There's more. Quote, there is no big tension, no central storyline, no central conflict, just some petty spats. There is a void, the insider shared. Well. Who told you this when you hire all these people that are best friends and trying to book all these business gigs and really don't care about the show itself because it's like an add-on for their empire? What do you think they're going to get?
Well, let me play devil's advocate here for one little second.
That's
Grant
cool.
Rudder, because
I don't claim to have a popular opinion.
You've sat and covered the show for many years, and you've never been a fan of LVP, and you said you needed her gone. But now she's gone, and apparently she took all the drama and the storylines with her. Isn't there something to be said for that?
Well, there hasn't been a storyline on Beverly Hills in 2 years, minimum. So, I mean, she was there, I guess, until she decided to quit. I haven't seen anything good come out of the show in a long time, and I know people are really frustrated.
That's true.
So, I mean, I don't know what to tell these people. I just don't know if Beverly Hills is the city for drama. Maybe if this is strictly a lifestyle show, then just say it's not a Real Housewives.
Then keep showing us Dorit and her fake Bentleys. You know, that's
fine. I've said this, and more and more now that I know they're in production and it's grim. I'm definitely not going to be. I can't put myself through it mentally.
Really, even just out of curiosity.
I don't think there's anything to be curious about. Quote, there's no big tension, no central storyline, no central conflict. Oh, I don't mean to be a bitch. I'm just saying, it's just like, I'm just not motivated.
It's been lacking for years. Like, I stopped doing AfterBuzz when it was the Pantygate season because I was just like, I don't think there's anything here, and they're going to drag it out for 4 months. And I couldn't sit through it. I really didn't watch that season. I kind of watched the past couple of seasons. I have it on in the background. I still like to see them. I like Kyle. I like seeing I like Lisa Rinna. I like seeing what they're up to, but there's just no meat there. No. And it's painful.
You know, if it was a shorter series order, I could commit to it. And I would just be like, okay, it's going to be like this for 10 weeks. Like, just watch it for what it is. But when you're on like week 25 and there's still nothing happening, I mean, just stop. Like, I don't want to see that.
Yeah, it's not interesting.
They need Kim Richards back.
They need something happening. There you go. Another example of having to pull someone back that fans recognize that did deliver. I agree. Yeah. I know people not everybody likes Kim, but when these things are coming out of the set from now, you know, they're in production.
Like what are they going to do with this? Like, they've already signed a full cast. They brought on the big names. I'm sure they paid very well for. Is it Garcelle
and Sutton?
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm sure the budget is strapped. Like, what are they going to do with this now?
Right.
You know, like, we need a show.
And
I'm going to still be watching. Maybe you guys won't. But
if they extend production too, that's a lot more money, and they have to like create new terms. I mean, you know, for budgets. So that's a whole other thing. I have a feeling it's probably going to be a lot of vacations because that's when they get people to participate in the show.
They've had such fire in the past though, like Kim and Brandy and you know, it's like why aren't they trying the same thing with Beverly Hills as, you know, our cameo from Alexis? You know, why can't we get that on Beverly Hills?
The press is not looking good, okay? I'm just saying. And
you know LVP is somewhere laughing in her purple silk shirt.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing now. She is going to get all the credit because it's, Lisa left and so did the drama. When she didn't do anything last season except she showed up for the last 5 minutes to open up a Vegas restaurant, which I am being targeted heavy in ads for, by the way, for Vanderpump Garden.
I think it's beautiful. I can't wait to go.
I have been targeted for this. I would not go myself. Obviously, I'm not into supporting her whatsoever, but I'm like the wrong one. Like, send the advertisements over to other people because like it's not going to happen.
Well, they're going to have to give her a spinoff either for Vanderpump Dogs or for that restaurant so that there's something that they can air along with Real Housewives of Beverly Hills when the next season happens. They're going to pair it along with her new spinoff and, say this is how we still have LVP presence on Tuesday night or whatever it is.
Thank God I discovered 90 Day Fiancé because that's what I'm going to be spending my time watching. All right, guys, let's wrap this sucker up. Briefly, tell me what you guys are working on. I know, Christy, tell me about what people can expect.
Yes, if you guys love 90 Day Fiancé, please check out 90 Day Fiancé news daily, every single day on AfterBuzz TV. And we also do a really fun weekly show where you guys can join us live in the chat. It's on YouTube Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific time, and we break down all the stories, the news, what's going down with this cast in real time, off camera. And what is going down in their real lives is a million times more shocking than what you see on screen.
It's true.
You will not believe what these people are doing to kind of retain their 15 minutes of fame or to clear their names. There's a lot of lying going on. I'm always getting to the bottom of it every single day. So please,
and there's exclusives too that you're not finding on blogs and people's Instagrams.
I'm to the point now where the cast is reaching out to me, where they're calling me on the phone. I'm in the mix.
Your go-to, Christy Olson.
I love it.
You guys, I think you guys have converted me. I watch this season.
You're really missing out if you're not watching.
It's worth a watch, especially if you love looking at people's lives and you love reality TV. Just give it a shot.
Yeah, I have to.
Granny June, by the way, is a new fan of 90 Day, and she's been watching them and watching the Pillow Talk and everything.
She's fully invested.
She's fully into it. So I told her in November, I said, I know. So she's watching, and so we'll have to hear from her coming up for sure. And we'll talk some 90 Day with Granny June, I promise.
Oh, I can't wait to hear her thoughts.
She's converted me. If Granny June's in, I'm in.
Fern, what's going on? We know you're an author. What's happening with the second book?
Yes, so my second book, better believe it. I'm waiting on a release date from my publisher, but as soon as I get it, everyone will know on all my social media. And I have a podcast, Signs from the Other Side, stories of signs and messages received from the other side. I interview all regular people. It's not a show of just interviewing psychic mediums at all. It's just regular people and their stories, and I love to hear these stories. So
it's really compelling stuff. People have to check it out.
Thank you.
It's good human interest stories too. Yeah, on top of it. Well, I encourage you guys to check out all of their projects and keep it here for Grant's Rants because we're going to continue. There are more things to discuss. As always, thank you for being patient with me. Welcome anyone joining us over from Pandora.
Hey.
I appreciate that. And as always, I love you for listening. We'll be back with more rants.
This has been Grant's Rants. Support the rants on Patreon at patreon.com/Grant's Rants. Follow Grant on Twitter and Instagram at It's Grant's Rants. Cover art created by Howie Ronay. Voiceover by Original theme music by Alexander Arntzen. The Grant Michael Collection.